Good afternoon, everyone. Guys, we've got a little bit of a strange video today, and bear with me till the end, obviously. But I've made some connections here that I don't think anyone else has made. And the question, this is not an informative video. I am asking you guys a question, so I can't be done for misinformation or seeding anything. This is a genuine question. And the question is this: who is writing British policy towards migration and immigration? That's the question, guys, and I'm going to give you guys some articles that I've seen and a little bit of digging I did, actually quite a lot of digging. Now, so for those of you who don't know, the United Kingdom at the moment, we're suffering, we're going through a very strange time where we've got people sent to jail for Facebook posts and people being let out of jail early that committed, violent crimes. They're getting let out of jail early to put the Facebook offenders in jail, and it seems like nobody's addressing the root cause of this problem. Now, let me read you this article. I'll share this article with you that came out earlier. And there's going to be a couple of articles that I'm going to share, and you'll understand why I'm having to share them in a minute. So this was, I think, today. Yeah, so this is the 23rd of August. So today. Crackdown on racist hate speech, UN tells the UK. Okay, that's fair if the UK has become a racist country. Okay, fair enough. The UN has urged the UK to take action to curb against racist hate speech, including by politicians, in a report published on Friday. It's noted that the persistence of hate speech published in mainstream media, online, and spread by politicians and public figures. It did not single out specific politicians or instances, but urged authorities to formally and publicly reject and condemn hate speech and the dissemination of racist ideas. And that is absolutely fine. Now, my only thing with that is, who defines hate speech and who defines what hate speech is? The UN said it was particularly concerned about racist acts and violence by far right and white supremacist groups, such as during the riots across England and Northern Ireland, fueled by misinformation and anti-immigration sentiment. The BBC reached out to the Minister for Women and Equalities for comment. I wonder, is there a minister for men and boys? Is there a minister for men? I don't know. Guys, I'm not even going to go on to that, but when it seems like there's this war on men, and it seems like men are being subjugated and pushed into a little box where they're being told that you're not to have your opinion. But plumbers, electricians, carpenters, road workers at the middle of the night, rail workers at the middle of the night, people who, the people who run the country on a day-to-day business. Who are they? Are they men or are they women? The UN's recommendations came from its 4-year review of the UK's record on tackling racial discrimination, a requirement for countries signed on to the international conventions. Now, this timing to me seems very suspicious. The 4-year review just happens to be now. The UN Committee for Elimination of Racial Discrimination urged the UK to address alleged racial profiling by police and discrimination in criminal justice, housing, and schools and healthcare. We're getting more and more people come to this country, and all they seem to be doing is is saying they're going to build more houses. What about healthcare? What about doctors? What about schools? What about the waterways? What about the infrastructure to support all these people? Because at some point we are going to come to, we're going to get to breaking point. Anyway, guys, I don't want to make this a long video. So this committee here, UN Committee for Elimination of Racial Discrimination. So I'm just going to go on to that one as well, because I have to share these articles, guys, because it's a bit of a rabbit hole we're going down. Where are we? Not that one. Where are we? I've missed it. Yeah, here we are. So I looked on their website, and we've got this guy, Mr Turk, United Nations High Commission for Human Rights. So this is the same organization, and this guy's in charge here. Mr Turk is the current United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights. He took up his official functions as High Commissioner on the 17th of August 2022. I'm not going to read it all, guys. A little bit of career background. He has devoted his long and distinguished career to advancing universal human rights. Absolutely brilliant. I wish we had universal human rights in the United Kingdom. Notably, the international protection of some of the world's most vulnerable people, refugees and stateless persons. Okay, fine. He's a really good guy. He's got a high moral stature. So then I started to look into who he actually was. And guys, I had to do a lot of digging and a lot of reading for this, all right? And again, let me know what you think. So I was looking around, I was trying to find, like people who he's involved with and people that fund him or his organization. And then I found this article. And again, I don't know if there's anything in it. This is a question that I'm proposing to you guys. My miracle, a new global compact on refugees. So this is an address. You can see his name there. This was in 2016. So this is the speech he gave. Now it's a lot of reading, guys. It's not the only one I did. And then you have to scroll quite far down. I hope it's still highlighted. There it is. So he goes on to talk about, checks and balances, what he can do, what people can do, and how to help refugees. So in addition, the involvement of the private sector has the potential to channel investment to both refugee and host communities. In this respect, we very much welcome commitments such as the recent pledge of $500 million by George Soros for startups and other private sector initiatives by refugees and migrants, showing how businesses can bring both money and innovation to the picture. The private sector has long acknowledged the benefits that refugees can bring, particularly in the context of an aging workforce. So that's so there are a few things I found out about what's happening in the United Kingdom. Now, let's work backwards then from the article that was released, where the UN Committee for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination urging the UK to address the alleged racial profiling, the far right hatred, the hate speech. This came out today. So then you've got to think, okay, who wrote that article and who gave that the go ahead? Who is this organization? Well, you can see from the top of the organization, these guys I know these organizations are different, and they move around, and they move names, and they move cap badges, and they move organizational structures. But you can see that George Soros has has a direct link to this guy who's in charge, who's pushing this agenda. So could it be beyond the realms of possibilities that there's people like George Soros who are wanting to flood the United Kingdom with migrants for, and again, I don't know what they would be funding this for, and I don't know why they would be wanting to do this. Maybe somebody's going to make some money out of it. I don't know. But that's the question I'm giving to you guys. What is this all about? Because it just seems to me that, and I think I figured this out when I was at my friend's house. I've got like I'd say he's a classic liberal, like the liberals used to be like 20 years ago. And he works his 9-to-5 job. He doesn't want to get involved with any trouble or anything. He goes on holiday once a year. He comes home, he has a beer, and he lives that kind of life. Now, when there's people like him and his wife getting really angry and getting involved, something's gone wrong. And I keep saying this, and I keep saying it over and over and over again on all the different platforms we're on. The problem is articles like this. Like this that I've just I'll put these links in the description. Crack down on racist hate speech in the UK. And they go on to highlight all the things that are going wrong in the UK and how the UN wants to crack down on it. It's articles like this because people look at these articles and they think, that's not what I saw at all. This is not what I'm seeing with my own eyes. And then they're reading these articles, and this is fueling the fire. It's making things, it's just making things first. Like I said before, at these protests, at these riots, however you want to, frame them. There were the mainstream media there reporting saying X, Y, Z, and then there were people with camera phones in the in the crowds, and they were filming things, and it was just a total fabrication. And people are starting to think, okay, if you're gonna, if people are gonna lie about this, then what else are they going to lie about? And, in this instance, we followed the money back and we found some. And again, I'm not saying there's any links there, guys. I'm asking the question, who is really funding the, sorry, I let it slip there. Who is really making the policies in the United Kingdom? Is it the UN? Is it Keir Starmer? Has Keir Starmer got somebody whispering in his ear, telling him what to do? Because these things are just absolutely insane. And there's lots of videos come up. There's one on, there's one that was on X, and X is another good. Again, I've been quite clear. I'm not convinced on, I'm not convinced on Elon Musk's, authenticity. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm just saying I'm not convinced. But there was something that popped up on X about, it was an old video of Keir Starmer, and I think he was on some talk show in the morning, and some woman phoned up and she was complaining about, the price cap being on the energy prices, and the fuel prices going up, and she was in a really bad situation. And then, Keir Starmer was saying, oh yes, under a Labour government, we would do this, we'd do that, we'd have these cuts, we'd look after these people. And as soon as he's in power, what's he done? He's not doing what he's been, he's made a career out of saying he's going to do X. And then now he's in power, he's just blatantly not doing it. And he's not even trying. That's the thing. People don't even see him try to fulfill his promises before the election, and they're just pushing through these measures where, taxes are going up, cuts in social benefits are coming. Price of everything's going up, price of energy is going up. And I keep saying this winter, if we have a cold winter, we are going to see mass civil disobedience. Because when people, what are they going to do? Put people in jail? Well, at least it'll be warm and they'll have food. Because a lot of people won't have that this winter. But anyway, guys, that is the question I'm putting to you. Oh yeah, guys, one more thing. And if it wasn't for platforms like X, none of this would have happened, and I mean that in, what's the word I'm looking for? With a degree of solace, in the context that if people all over the country were not told how bad it was in different parts, and were not fed these lies, and if it wasn't for people like X, platforms like X, and that were able to live stream these things, and people could see with their own eyes and make their own opinion up, then I think we wouldn't even know. We would just have to believe what the mainstream was telling us, that these riots were caused by the far right because they're racist hooligans and thugs. But then on the platforms that we're seeing, it's it's nanans and aunties and dads and mums who are scared for their kids, and people are genuinely scared for their children. So when you bracket people as far right hooligans that are scared of their children, you're not getting them people back. Them people are just, right, okay, we've been abandoned. And then where do they go? They find, I watched the movie. I watched the movie the other day. Really good, actually. June 2. I'm not sure if it's called something, or if it's just called June 2. But the rise of Paul Atreides, and it kind of reminds me of social ideological, when the crisis phase, when you've subverted a country, and then you move into the normalization phase. When you polarize people, they will find a strong leader and they will believe them like the Messiah. And then you're going to have a situation now. You're going to have a situation coming up soon where, take Trump, for example. You get people who support Trump, that because they've been polarized, anything he says, they will just follow it. And we've seen what happens in history when that happens, haven't we? Nothing ends well. And in the United Kingdom as well, the more this polarization happens and people get, oh, you're far right, go over there, you're a far right hooligan. What? I just want my kids to be safe. No, if you have them thoughts, you're a far right hooligan. Right, okay, whatever, I'm a far right hooligan. So the further you divide these people, the more likely it is a strong leader will emerge, and that strong leader will be, and to its detriment, that strong leader will be followed blindly, like they follow Paul Atreides blindly on June. I did enjoy the movie, guys. He goes pretty badass when he turns into when he drinks that blue stuff. Anyway, guys, I've waffled for quite long enough. I've gone off on a tangent again. The basis of this video was a question, and the question is the question is what stands. Who is dictating British policy? Is it the people who are funding organizations with $5 million or whatever? Or is it the people who are actually voting? Because there could be a strong argument to say that the people who are voting for Keir Starmer don't actually like what he's doing. So then why is he doing it? What's the ulterior motive? Who's doing this? Guys, this is not me making any statements. This is me asking a question, and that's the question. So anyway, guys, I'm going to back to grid. I'm going to try and get you guys another video later on, and I'll see you soon.